Hello, welcome to Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. If you like this video, please push like it anyway, and share it with your family, friends, neighbors, enemies, etc. The order. The government would say it was a terrorist neo-Nazi group founded in the northwestern corner of the United States that was taken down due to terrorist acts to further the gang's agenda in the 1980s. I think that's pretty correct. One of the founding members, David Lane, would go on to be in the white movement, some white movements, basically the Jesus of the movement. And I'm not trying to criticize anybody that believes in Christianity and the white movement too, or Christianity, or anybody in general, okay? I'm just trying to give an example of how important the guy is to white groups today, especially when it comes to white prison gangs, and this is where I'm going. David Lane wrote what's called the 14 words. The 14 words is, we must secure a future for the white children because the beauty of the white Aryan woman must not persist. Perish. Must not persist. Perish. And in order to do this, in order to preserve this, he wrote what's called, well, there's many documents, but it's the 88 precepts. It's basically the guidelines for securing the 14 words, okay? Damn, I can't read my own writing, and this is terrible. I should stop doing this. Anyway, David Lane was very influential in many of the white prison gangs today. In context of this video, specifically the Aryan Resistance Militia. The Aryan Resistance Militia, who started as Aryan Resistance Movement on the street, was founded in the prison systems by guys on the street. So the Aryan Resistance Militia. Out of the Aryan Resistance Movement came people that would go to prison, I guess you'd say, and then become arms, okay? Arms was not a prison gang. It was never supposed to be, but it did become that. I would say the first real shot caller of that arms would be a guy named Rock Bledsoe, whatever. I knew Rock. I can't pronounce the last names very well. But when it became more than just people, or a gang, I guess, where he was at, and I believe it was at Terre Haute, correct me, you guys, if you will. When it went to Leavenworth and spread out to other places, I would have to say a guy named Speed was the face of the Aryan Resistance Militia, or arms. And then I would have to add, I did a video about a guy named Tony Adams. Tony Adams, and I missed this, was directly responsible for spreading the arms further throughout the federal prison systems, in my opinion. He patched more members. He went different places. He started communications. He started a website or a letter for these guys. But I would have to say Tony would be more responsible for seeding the arms. Okay, let's get back to Speed and Leavenworth. When Speed was at Leavenworth from 1998 to 2002, when I was there, what happened was I would say there was no more than, let's just call it 5 armed members. I remember Aldrich, RD, Rock, but he was staying in the background. But there was about 5 of them, okay? By the way, real quick, the guy who became the founder of the Aryan Brotherhood in Maryland, or Maryland Aryan Brotherhood, was prospecting for the arms. He failed. Then he went into PC for forever in the 88’s. Then he became the founder of the Aryan Maryland Brotherhood. I did a video about that a long time ago. Anyway, there were some guys at Leavenworth, let's just say from 2000 to 2002, that wanted to be members of the arms, but for whatever reason, Speed didn't necessarily want them in the beginning. One of them, Mexican Mike, for obvious reasons, he was Mexican. Although somebody did tell me he became an arms, but I don't know. That wouldn't be at a, there's Mexicans that are Aryan Brotherhood members, and other races, Hawaiians, so that wouldn't surprise me. But what happened was there was a bunch of guys from Kansas City and Missouri that Speed, I guess, wouldn't necessarily want as armed members. He wanted to make it maybe a little bit more prestigious. But what they did was this. Now you can enter Howie. Oh my God, I just forgot his last name. Okay, Howie H. And I think it's better I don't say his last name because of the things I'm going to say. Howie H. Little fat kid from Kansas came in. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong again about the areas, because I know some of you will. Because somebody else said Missouri, but I remember it was Kansas. Guy named Howie comes in, and a little short, fat, pudgy kid, beast of a tattoo artist. The dude can really sling some ink. I would argue not as good as a guy named Randy Shreve, who was a dirty white boy, who dropout dirty white boy, but Howie was good. Howie lived in B Upper, and everybody was going to Howie for tattoos. And every tattoo that he did, he would draw the little HH. That's Howie in his last name, okay? Out of that, it began an idea or whatever for another white prison gang. A white prison gang that would arguably be formed for the intent of being the foot soldiers of the Aryan Resistance Militia. So then the ones that would move on up the ranks of the arms, or the elite member of the 88's, would then become arms, is the theory, okay? So here's what goes down. Plus, Mexican Mike was a valuable asset to these guys, and they wanted him, but he couldn't be tipped up on a white, especially when a movement called the Aryan Resistance Militia at the time. And they did, I don't remember them spreading literature about, but they did follow David Lane, they did follow the 88 precepts, and they did follow the 14 words. They were about that, okay, for sure. Now, let's go to the 88's. So Howie becomes the founder of the 88's. And this gang, for a period of time in Leavenworth, just went. Now, I've been told 50 members, I've been told 12 members. I wasn't there. The 88 started once they stomped the dirty white boys out of Leavenworth. Now, here's what I mean. The dirty white boys, in which I was a part of, and the armed guys got into it. Specifically, Speed and a guy named Robert Rasnicker Head got into a beef over some methamphetamine. Head owed money to Speed. They got into a fight on the yard. In that fight, Head called the arms sisters. So Speed was saying, hey, listen, Head was trying to challenge him to a fight behind the bleachers. Speed said, I don't want to get our brothers involved. And Head popped off and said, what brothers? You got sisters, okay? And cussed him up and down. And this is in front of the bleachers. That day, when we went back in, I told Head, we have to get prepared because these guys are going to jump us, okay? Instead, the next day, Head and a couple of my brothers fought each other. We got locked up, and they locked up like 30-something dirty white boys and associates. The dirty white boys, there was like 10, 11 at the time, but there was like 33 with associates and all. They locked us all up because we kept beating each other up. We had internal crisis, but they locked us all up. Well, what happened was when they locked us up, the armed and other people that didn't like the dirty white boys at Leavenworth took advantage and said, okay, when the dirty white boys start coming out, we're going to hit the first ones out. Well, staff got wind of this, but what they did was they let the associates out, and then one of our prospects named Cub got the shit beat out of him up in B Upper by Howie, which would become the 88's, and also a guy named Whitey, but Whitey was a different issue. They beat the shit out of this guy, okay? So now it's well known that if the dirty white boys come out, it's on. We all knew this in the shoe. We were making knives. I mean, we were getting ready to get busy, okay? And we knew we were effed from the gate. Well, Speed, the founder of the arms, or the shot call of the arms, I know this for a fact, went to staff and told them not to let us back out. We didn't get out. When it was certain on the compound that the dirty white boys were getting transferred, the 88's were born. I'm not saying it was just because of that, but conveniently they were born at the same time, founded at the same time, whatever. So then what happens is the dirty white boys we all get transferred out. We get seated in different places, and the 88's become a huge, it's windy. The 88's become a huge presence in Leavenworth for a period of time. And some of them did go to other prisons. I was told that Howie ends up becoming an arm and ends up in Coleman, where I was told that he was told under no certain terms not to ever put another 88 on anybody again, and he did not. I don't know the status of the gang today. That was the founding of the 88's, and there's some guys that were really into it. I think a lot of them were primarily out of Missouri and Kansas. I should add this about Howie, and this goes back to white shot callers that start gangs. And I go back to Tin Man of Sac because he was a yo boy. I go to Tony Adams because he was a yo boy and then became some big guy in the white. These are guys that became somebody in the white gang movements, I guess. Howie, when he was in state prison, a correctional officer that was in state prison by the name of Brown, who ended up getting arrested in Leavenworth for bringing in narcotics or whatever. Good guy too. I liked him as a rec officer. Brown told us right in front of Howie that, Howie, you were a PC case. I believe he was messing with punks. I can't put that on him for sure, but he was in protective custody when he was in state prison and then came to Leavenworth and became a founder of a gang. That's a fact. Brown put him on the spot. There was 2 guys at the time. One's name was Hornhead. He was out of Missouri. Howie could have been out of Missouri. Whatever. So maybe it was Missouri. Maybe he was in Missouri State Prison. And I could have got that wrong. But I was there when Brown busted both those dudes out and said, you guys, basically you guys are trying to become something now. You weren't nothing in the state prison system. That's not to put them down. That is not my point. My point is, again, you got a white founder of a gang that was either into the hip hop movement or protect custody, whatever the deal is. Time and time again, when you find leaders that have like really bad skeletons in their closet. I'm talking about organization on the street. We can get into all kinds of stuff. That's not my intent here. This was about the founding of the 88's. I do not have their patch. That is not the 88 on the thumbnail. That is not their patch. There's some good guys out of the 88's for sure. So I don't ever want to, like any gang, you got a few good ones and a lot of bad ones. And I'm going to get into the think about joining white gangs in general in a different video. This is just something I wanted to add because I put something out about the arms. If you're running around with 88 tattoos, this isn't to, well, I hope you've moved on with your life now, and I hope you're out of prison. I guess the 88s are in different systems now. By the way, 88, I'm sorry, this is where I really screwed it up. You got Howie. H is the 8th letter in the alphabet is H. Hitler. Heil Hitler. So 88, Heil Hitler. But Howie's personal little deal was, it was his gang, Howie H. Okay? So maybe, guys, a lot of guys don't know that. Okay? That's a fact. So that's what he did, but he used the Heil Hitler. A lot of times you'll find 1488 on guys. That's the 14, we must, 14 words. We must secure the existence and the 88 precepts, which backs it up, which teaches you how to secure the 14 words. That's what you'll see on the 1488s. Anyway, it's Friday. Have a good Friday. And I'm going to do a live here. I'm not going to say a time. Bye.